are Locked On Lakers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The Los Angeles Lakers get a new starting lineup. Dalton Knecht is back. We talk about all that. And most importantly, the Lakers snap a 3-game losing streak in San Antonio. We talk about it all on the Locked On Lakers postcast. Again, thanks for joining me. The Lakers needed this win desperately. Want to mention the people over at Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows you to get the rates and perks usually reserved for high society. Of course, the Lakers, we talk about it after every single game, what's going on in the post-game show with the Lakers. And for the Lakers, it was a disappointing night yesterday when they lose to Phoenix. It was disappointing earlier in the week when they lose to the Denver Nuggets. At the same time, you look what the Lakers are doing, and they're able to go on the road and get a big win. Very excited to see the way the Lakers played. They're able to play finally up to what we think as Laker fans is their potential. I'm Dave Palais, again, a former credential member of the Los Angeles Lakers for more than 32 years, been in broadcasting if you're new to the show. Basically, I covered the Lakers from the early 90s all the way to the 2000s. So I was around during the Kobe years, the Shaq years, the Phil Jackson years, and decided, of course, because I had a talk show in Southern California, it was just too much to follow the team around, but it was honestly some of the best times of my 32-year broadcasting career. And I'm happy to be back talking Laker basketball with Laker fans. So I appreciate the comments, any insight to things that you as fans, you have seen, to what is expected of this team, to what you want to see that is done next for this team. And that goes out to Rob Pelinka, and that goes out to JJ Redick, and what can they possibly do. I want to start the show talking about Dalton Knecht. If you've listened to the last few shows, I've been very, very critical of what the Lakers have done with their starting lineup. Dalton Knecht is a person that I think as a rookie, number one, he has proven that he is a spark. He is someone that needs to start games. He is someone in his career as a rookie, and going back to what he has always done on a basketball court, what he has done in college at the University of Tennessee when he was the SEC Player of the Year, what he did in high school, he has always been a starter. And so to bring him off the bench after going through warmups is something he has not been used to. I understand every guy that plays on the Lakers roster, even the 12th guy, has always been a starter throughout their entire career. But why would you take someone who not only as a rookie has proven that he can play with LeBron and AD and start the game with Austin Reeves in the backcourt and be a tremendous success, and all of a sudden stifle that by having Cam Reddish out there? I think a lot of people expected that if Dalton Knecht became a starter again, who would go to the bench? People thought it would be Rui. Well, that's not the case. As you heard on the show last night, I said you can't worry about what basketball used to be as we knew it. Back in the Magic Johnson days, when you had your point guard, you had your shooting guard, you had your small forward, your power forward, your center. Those days are gone in the NBA. I mean, how many times do we see 7-footers bring the ball up the court and then start the offense? Those days are gone. You get the ball out of the net, or you throw the ball in bounds, you push it up the floor, and you start your offense. And so it didn't matter who was your 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. This is the way the NBA is today. Imagine today's NBA back in the 80s when Pat Riley was coaching the Showtime Lakers, and the amount of threes that are fired up every single game. It took all the way for the Houston Rockets and Daryl Morey to decide, you know what, we've done the math, and the people at MIT have said, you're going to shoot three-pointers. You're going to be okay shooting three-pointers at a lower percentage than you would if you keep just going after twos. So back in the day when in the 80s and when it was guys like Michael Cooper or Byron Scott that would fire up a three, the Lakers were lucky to shoot maybe 7 3-point attempts per game, and nobody did. As good of a shooter as Larry Bird was, he wasn't rifling the ball up the way you see it is done today. So when you look at Laker basketball, where everybody is and what they can do to move forward, JJ Redick, I think, is a tremendous coach to have because he talks about the importance of the three-pointer and being able to shoot it consistently. That being said, this Laker team isn't built for one of the best shooting teams in the league. This isn't the Golden State Warriors of the last 10 years. It's not one of those teams that has had a tremendous amount of success shooting threes. Dalton Knecht is one of those guys that can come in and shoot the three consistently and do extremely well. So for the Lakers moving forward, you have to be extremely excited about what you saw today because Dalton Knecht's not leaving the starting lineup. To step in and have this game against the San Antonio Spurs tonight with 10 points in the first quarter, that was big. So when you look at the lineup, again, if you didn't see the beginning of the game and you want to know what was the lineup, it was basically the same starting lineup that you've seen, except Cam Reddish went to the bench. And that's where he belongs. Cam Reddish is the guy that needs to find his role on this Laker team. Now, if he can come off the bench and add a spark or add anything, then he's going to continue to get minutes. If Cam Reddish can't do that, then the Lakers are going to realize, you know what, this is a guy you're going to find towards the bottom of the bench, one of those guys that you see DNP, coach's decision in the box score. He's not going to play. And it's frustrating because we all know that Cam Reddish was a guy that was highly touted coming out of Duke. When the Lakers got him, could they turn him around? We all know JJ Redick is a Duke guy. Started to make you question a little bit, is there a little loyalty to the old alumni? And at the same time, that's not what it's about in the NBA. That's not what it's about with the Lakers and what they're trying to do to move forward. So let's look at what the Lakers did tonight. It was a tremendous game for a couple reasons. Right off the bat, I don't know about you as Laker fans, if you thought, oh, no, it's back-to-back games on the road. Is AD going to sit out? Is LeBron going to sit out? And I was like, this team can't afford to lose 4 straight games. And neither one of them sat out. I was so happy to see both of these guys in the starting lineup. Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and that's what leaders do. Not what you have across town, what's going on with the Clippers and load management and everything else. Both these guys would guess, you know what, we have to stop this losing streak. We can't make it worse. We all know OKC is coming to town on Friday. The Lakers need to pull out this win. You don't sit there and get on 2 flights to Phoenix and San Antonio and drop both games and then come home and think that you're going to turn things around against OKC. They needed this win bad. They desperately needed it. Lakers improved to 11-7 on the season. A couple things to look at that will make you sit there and say, you know what, he's right. They are moving in the right direction. They won every single quarter. The Lakers won every single quarter. So the Spurs coming into this game were 10-8. All right, not terrible. 10-8. That's a winning record. It's not the old San Antonio Spurs where they're one of the worst teams in the league. They're figuring things out with young players. Lakers outscore San Antonio in the first quarter, 32-23. Dalton Knecht had 10 points in the first quarter. Right off the bat, he's 4 of 6 from the outside, at 2 of 4 3-point shots. Pretty good. Second quarter, Lakers outscore San Antonio 26-24. So here was the big stat for the Lakers in the second quarter. The Lakers had 9 second chance points, and the San Antonio Spurs only had 2. So the Lakers go into the half leading 58-47. Lakers are now 7-2 when leading at the half. If you follow the Lakers over this last week, it has not been a very good third quarter. This is where the team has fallen apart over the last few days. They fell apart against the Nuggets, fell apart against the Suns dramatically in the second half, completely fell apart. Completely embarrassed. So you say, look at the Lakers right now, 58-47. A player we've been very critical of because he's been shooting 15% from 3-point range. D'Angelo Russell stepped up big tonight. D'Angelo Russell had 14 points off the bench, 6 of 7 from the field with 2 3-pointers, all in the first half coming off the bench. Rui added 11, which was great because, again, there's a lineup change. Again, he's coming back from injury, trying to find his spot in this rotation with the Lakers. For him to have 11.5 is great, especially on a night where LeBron James struggled. LeBron James, 2 of 9, only 4 points in the first half. And AD at the same time, 7 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists in the first half. So when you're looking at your 2 top players, you're looking at 4 from LeBron, you're looking at 7 from AD, and you're going, man, only 11 points from these guys. We're winning 58-47. Things are going in the right direction. Third quarter, Lakers outscored the Spurs 34-30. And with that third quarter, it was Anthony Davis that stepped up. 12 points just in the quarter alone. Max Christie, someone we've been wondering for a while, why was there so much talk about Max Christie before the season began? We all thought last year we saw sparks. Maybe they see more in practice. We have not seen Max Christie play very well, to the point there have been many games where Max Christie doesn't get minutes. So Max Christie had 12 points through 3 quarters, 4 of 4 shooting from the floor for Max Christie. That's a big sign. As we said, we have to deepen that bench. You have to figure out which guys can sit there and be contributors for this team. Just like we criticized yesterday of saying, you know, all the talk from Rob Pelinka that it will be December when he looks to make trades if he doesn't have the right roster. Max Christie is one of those guys that you aren't doing your job. D'Angelo Russell, one of those guys, you are not doing your job. Fourth quarter, LeBron James turned it on. And LeBron James, where it looked like one of those nights where it didn't look like typical LeBron James came through big for the Lakers. And LeBron James, if you watch the game through the first 3 quarters, you're going, man, this is not what possibly is, people will say the greatest player of all time looks like. But he finished with a triple-double. 16 points, 11 assists, 10 rebounds for LeBron. Most importantly for me as a basketball fan, as someone who always wants to say, let's keep the other team off balance, 7 players in double digits tonight for the Lakers. 7 guys in double digits. I'll give those to you right now if you haven't looked at the box score. Anthony Davis had 19. Rui had 16. LeBron James 16. Austin Reeves had 13. Dalton Knecht had 20. As we mentioned before, D'Angelo Russell, even though he had 14 in the first half, he finished with 17. He was 3 of 6 from three-point range, D'Angelo Russell was. So there you go. He raised it up from shooting 15% from three-point range to 50% tonight. That was big as well. So you have to be extremely excited about what the Lakers are doing. Another stat that I always like to look at for the Lakers, win or lose, how do they do at the free throw line? Because free throws, they're free, right? You got to make those shots. The Lakers are perfect 10 for 10 from the free throw line tonight. They're very exciting right there. So Lakers played a great game tonight. Overall, very balanced. Can't ask for more. I will say it was almost a perfect game. Some of you will say, you know what, we'll see when they have to face a better team like they do in OKC. But overall, this Laker team is moving in the right direction, and they needed it bad. They desperately needed this bad for them to pull that one off. So overall, very, very exciting that the Lakers were able to do what they did. Want to mention the people over at Robinhood. Again, Robinhood, don't forget, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for high society. Now, resourceful individuals with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25 APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of the high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here. Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold for more information. So right now, looking at the Lakers moving forward, again, very excited to see what they're doing and what they're going to do to move forward. We're going to cover all of that as we continue with the show. Also, again, we'll talk about JJ Redick and what his next move is as well. I also want to mention the people over at FanDuel. FanDuel, don't forget, right now, we know what it's like when you get that hunch. It is an exciting time in sports. In every single sport, it's an exciting time because right now, new customers can bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game or before a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. We all know what it's like to get those hunches. Look at some of the games that are coming up. In college football, Alabama, the Iron Bowl, takes on Auburn. All right, Alabama completely embarrassed against Oklahoma last week. Does Alabama on senior day turn it up against their rival? At the same time, when you look at the NFL, the Chargers with a disappointing Monday Night Football loss to the Ravens. Do the Chargers travel to Atlanta and get a chance to show that, you know, we are one of the better teams in the league? Do you have that hunch on teams that will cover or teams that say there's no way they're going to cover? So many different ways that you can wager today. Just visit FanDuel.com. You'll get started $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Make sure you check things out at FanDuel. Again, so many people excited. They want to get up in on the action. Talking Laker basketball right now, the Lakers, as they stand, the Lakers are in good shape. Getting on that plane right now, 117-99 win over the Spurs. Again, big game coming up on Friday as they will take on Oklahoma City. And that should be exciting because Oklahoma City is, again, one of the teams in the league that not only are exciting, but they have so much young talent that their team that I think we'll be looking at and the rest of the NBA will be looking at for a long time. Where do the Lakers stand with the win? Again, they're 11-7. Right now, they have the 5th seed in the Western Conference. The top teams in front of them, Oklahoma City, Golden State, Houston, Memphis, the Lakers, Clippers, Suns, Mavericks, Nuggets, Spurs. Those are your top 10 teams right now in the West. The West is always extremely tough. These standings will change dramatically. So if you worry about the teams that are in front of you, my goal is following this team as I want to see the Lakers be a top 4 seed. I think it helps them out tremendously the way things break down. Oklahoma City is for real. Is Golden State for real at number 2? Houston, Even though they're 14-6, I'm not sold on the Houston Rockets, and I'm not sold on the Memphis Grizzlies either. The Grizzlies are the team that's in front of the Lakers. Lakers, again, have the 5 seed at 11-7. Right now, looking at this Laker team, it's one of those where you're a little frustrated because we've seen them get blown out. At the same time, are you one of those basketball fans that you look at point differential? Is it important to you, point differential? Does that indicate if a team is strong or if they're weak? The Lakers' point differential is minus 1.0. They're the only team that's in red of teams that are in the top 6. Even the Clippers are 0.24, and they're behind the Lakers. So does the point differential mean anything to you? In the East, if you're curious, the top team is still the Cleveland Cavs. Cavs, with a rare loss, they fall to 17-2. Celtics 15-3. Those right now are your 2 top teams. As we move forward, it's only November, I understand, but everything is important. Everything is important as far as what happens with this Laker team, and every game I think is important. It's always frustrating as fans when you see that they kind of throw games away. And there have been a few of those already this year in November. You hope with the new coach and JJ Redick and the leadership of LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and those guys have been part of plenty of games where you've seen guys that, the effort isn't there. I can't say that with this Laker team that the effort's not there. I see things that don't go right, but at the same time, I don't see it where I feel like, the effort isn't there for this team. So I'm very excited by it. I see some of you that are nice enough to comment already. Craig Osterberg says, great victory. Couldn't agree more, Craig. Dalton Knecht, Christie, D'Lo played great. They did, and that's what this Laker team needed. Very exciting. Daniel says, easy dub. Look, none of them are easy. If you watch the game on TV tonight and you heard Stu Lance, and the comment was, the Spurs won't go away, and Stu Lance said, teams don't go away. You have to put them away. That's exactly right. These are professionals. They all have huge egos. Things got a little bit chippy at points in the game. If it's one of those where the Lakers have to do everything they can to keep everything moving in the right form. And I thought today was important. You get on that plane, you feel like everybody contributed. That's a big deal. It's a big deal to take that flight back from Texas to Los Angeles and to feel like this was a complete team win. I'm all for that. Daniel says they own the Spurs. They do. They own the Spurs, kind of like the Nuggets own the Lakers. And at the same time, it was a solid win, as uncanny, sweet. 97 says solid win, and so I'm very excited by it. Very disappointed in the last couple games of what I saw and how they fell apart in the second half, and going, how did this happen? What's that halftime speech all about? Because the Lakers are falling apart in the second half, and so we become very, very frustrated to see this is a team that we think is capable of so much more. When you have 2 Hall of Famers on your team, and Anthony Davis and LeBron James, how do teams fall apart? How many other teams in the NBA seem to play well or play harder or finish games when they don't have Hall of Famers? You're talking about 2 Olympic athletes as well. Where does that come in as far as we need to win? And when you look at what the Lakers have done over the last few years, where the season overall record hasn't been what we thought, you said something has to happen. There has to be a spark, and that's one of the reasons JJ Redick is here. Been critical of JJ Redick in the past. And so, and in the past, I mean in the last week. I was very happy with the hire because I thought it was fresh blood. I thought he did a good job with his assistant coaches, getting a couple guys that have been head coaches. But when you listen to JJ Redick, he's taking these losses hard, just like we are. And that's what you want. You want your head coach to say it's not okay. And so when JJ Redick is changing things around in the lineup, and he says he's staying up late at night and he's looking at the game over and over again and he can't sleep, that's what I want to hear. As a fan of the team, I want to hear the coach is not okay with the team losing, or the team getting blown out, or the team falling apart. What are they doing wrong? The simplest thing to do is, as a basketball fan, is where do they fall apart? Well, let's go ahead and look at the turnovers. Let's look at missed free throws. What could you control? And for the Lakers, they took care of business tonight. They did a very good job. The pace of the game was good, but most importantly, I think the spark off the bench was big. The change with Dalton Knecht, D'Angelo Russell, providing a spark with 14 points early. And at the same time, Max Christie, that was big. And that's what this Laker team needs. They need to stretch things out. And we spoke about it in the last show when they played the Phoenix Suns. You can't sit there and run LeBron James into the ground. He's going to be, in about a month, he's going to be 40 years old. It's amazing he's playing at the caliber of basketball he is at his age. We've never seen anything like it. Anthony Davis looks like he is literally out there trying to win an MVP award. He is busting his rear end out there every single night. So when you have Austin Reeves who's knocking down threes and he's able to take the ball to the hoop, you have Dalton Knecht who's not afraid to bang around a little bit and obviously go to the hoop and dunk the ball and receive alley-oops and everything else underneath where, you ask anybody, we've all played pickup basketball. You know what it's like when, hey, you want to play, and then that guy that never leaves the three-point line because he's afraid of physical contact. This Laker team is not afraid of physical contact. And so very excited to see what they have to do. Craig says young players have to be consistent. They do, and that's a matter of playing more and more, right? It's not a matter of, hey, I'm getting my chance, I'm getting my opportunity. It's the NBA, I'm on the floor with LeBron James, and your heart starts racing. You got to play consistent. You got to be what you've always been your entire life as a basketball player. And that's always from a young age. You're a team player, you're a distributor, you're boxing guys out, you're making your free throws, you're making good passes, and you're keeping everybody involved. But if you're on the floor thinking I'm playing with legends, as a young player, you're never going to do well. You got to play your game. There's a reason why the Lakers signed you or drafted you or traded for you. And for the Lakers, it's a lot. It's a lot right now of what they're doing. And I know guys are trying to figure out their roles. I still think JJ Redick doesn't know the role of a lot of these guys because there's so much work to be done. Very excited to see what happened tonight. And this is one of those nights where I've told you in the past where you wake up in the morning and you say, hey, did my team win last night? It's a big deal to go, the Lakers won. It's going to be a good day because the Lakers won. And we'll see what happens, how they can move on from here. But again, for the Lakers, very, very cool to see the way things worked out for them tonight. So I'm excited about the win. I'm excited about Thanksgiving, a day off, and then travel back and give these guys a little bit of rest on their legs and their bodies and all the banging that went around tonight. But I'm looking to see what they do moving forward for them as well. I want to mention the people over at BILT. Don't forget BILT. It's one of those deals where if you don't have a home, you can earn points because you pay rent. It's one of those things that pays for you in this situation that's rare. Earning points on rent is now reality when you pay your rent through BILT. You don't even have to check with your landlord to start earning points. That is something you can use towards flights, hotel stays, fitness classes, you name it. Also, on your next rent payment, you can use that as well. Don't forget, a BILT can help you out. If you're a renter, I'd start taking advantage of BILT. If I were you, here's the thing. You can earn points on groceries, travel, practically everything, anywhere that you buy. Don't forget, BILT is a great opportunity for you to take advantage of everything that BILT has to offer. And that's because you're a renter. We hear all the time that renters don't get the same benefits of homeowners. This is your opportunity. Make sure you check out BILT. Start earning points that you're already paying money towards. Join BILT.com/LockedOnNBA. Again, that's joinBILT.com/LockedOnNBA, joinBILT.com/LockedOnNBA. Laker basketball, very exciting right now. What's going to happen next for the Lakers as we move forward towards the end of football season? A lot of people who aren't all in on the Lakers right now, this is your opportunity to follow this team closely. It gets exciting. We've all seen different coaches that go about the NBA season in different ways. If you look at Pat Riley, look like Pat Riley in the 80s went about the Lakers season that every game was important. It's important to have the number one record heading into the postseason. And also, I think Pat Riley, with as competitive as he was, Pat Riley wanted to have a chance to beat the 72 Laker team that had the best record at the time in the history of the NBA. Magic Johnson's teams always seemed like they were winning 60 games. And when they lost a game, it was shocking. Phil Jackson did things a lot different. Another Hall of Fame coach, one of the greatest of all time. Phil Jackson did things a little bit different. And what Phil always, my theory was, he didn't want to coach the NBA All-Star game. He wanted the days off. So it always felt like Phil Jackson would sit on that chair and say, let the guys figure it out. And then after the All-Star break, it seemed like the Lakers were a different team. He coached different. He coached Kobe different. He coached Shaq different. And he coached the bench different. The rotation seemed more crisp. And so for Phil Jackson, it was, we have time to round into shape. We've seen NBA teams in the past that a lot of times it feels like they're peaking too early. I'll put Cleveland right now in that category. A team that you say, are they that good or are they peaking just right now? Are the Houston Rockets doing the same thing? November peaking. You don't want to peak. You always want to move forward to play your best basketball towards the end of the season, heading into the playoffs. Guys like LeBron James, who have played more than 20 seasons, has seen it all. But for Laker fans, we've gone through both. And I'm sure most Laker fans will say, man, I loved it the way Pat Riley did it. I did. I love the fact that Pat Riley was a coach that could sit there and feel momentum change in games and then use his timeouts wisely. When I watch JJ Redick now, that's the only thing I see as far as being a young coach with JJ Redick is it feels like JJ Redick calls timeouts almost like a college coach does. Like he gets upset that he saw something he didn't like and he burns the timeout. Pat Riley was great at stopping momentum of other teams. And that's why I always admired him as a coach. Glad to see, by the way, that he's getting a statue. Phil Jackson was amazing. And he was a guy that can put everything together when the team was ready to peak. He did not care about regular season records. Maybe Michael Jordan cared about it with the Bulls. And when they were able to break the record 72 team record for the greatest team of all time, it's different for this Laker team. They need to find their identity, and they need to find their identity heading into April. But with a new coach, new players, rookies, and you're trying to figure out the starting lineup, and it looks like we found it. Are the Lakers moving in the right direction? I think they are. Tonight showed me they are. I hope they can put back-to-back quality games together when they take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. That will be a big game at Crypto on Friday. Otherwise, we know that the Lakers have a ton of road games coming up. And so for the Lakers, you take advantage of what's happening with the team when they have quality teams in front of them. Oklahoma City plays the Warriors tonight. If they win, they'll be tied for the best record in the West. So they have Thanksgiving off just like the Lakers do. They'll be rested. They'll just come down the coast, face the Lakers. And, with those young players, they want to get a win. Those young players in Oklahoma City, they know they're playing against legends and Anthony Davis and LeBron James, two future Hall of Famers. I want to mention the Locked On Lakers daily podcast with Brian and Andy Kameninski. Those guys do a fantastic job. Daily podcast, again, Locked On Lakers. Those guys are great. I want to mention a couple other things. Chick Hearn's birthday today. Nick Van Exel's birthday. Nick Van Exel, 53 years old. I'll tell you a quick Nick Van Exel story, and then we'll get on out of here. Nick Van Exel, when I covered the Lakers back in the 93-94 season, Nick was great. Had with Nick Van Exel and Eddie Jones and George Lynch, and those guys, they didn't win a lot of games, and they obviously didn't go deep in the postseason to be able to get Phil Jackson and Kobe and Shaq on the same page. The Lakers weren't able to win a lot of games, but they're a fun team to cover. So one day I'm in the Laker locker room after a game, and I was looking to do something with the media, and I needed Nick Van Exel's help. And I said, "Hey, Nick, I'm doing some TV tomorrow. Any chance that you can come in and take some time to do this TV hit with me?" And Nick Van Exel looked me in the face and he says, "Dave, I'm such a great guy that I wake up early every morning just to spend more time with myself." So that line always made me laugh that Nick dropped that line. "I'm such a great guy. I wake up early just to spend more time with myself." So happy birthday, Nick Van Exel, 53 today. For Nick the Quick, Nick at Night. Everybody remembers those days at the Forum. Sweet left-handed jumper. Sometimes I look at D'Angelo Russell and I said, man, it reminds me a little bit of Nick Van Exel, but Nick had a little bit of swagger in him. I think if D'Angelo has those games that are more consistent, we're going to see the same situation where we're going to go D'Angelo Russell is exactly what this Laker team needs. Otherwise, I think Rob Pelinka is going to make a decision on what's happened. I see guys talking about Thanksgiving in the chat right now. I will say this before we get on out of here. Thanksgiving tomorrow, this is always the advice I give. I'll just say something personal about myself. A few years ago, very tough time for my family. Yeah, my son passed away. And so when I lost my son, these holidays haven't been good. It's not good in my home. It's not good, to me. When you're sitting around the table, Thanksgiving, Christmas time, my son's birthday, all that stuff where you're going, someone should be here that's not here. Thanksgiving is tough. It's one of those holidays that used to come and go as I grew up. And you start to realize for the people who are lucky enough to have their family intact, or they're with their grandparents or aunts and uncles that they don't see very often, and look around the table. That's all the advice I'm going to give you. Look around the table, try and take in the faces, pull the phone out if you want to take pictures or videos and hear some voices that you're going to want from later on in life. But what I'll say is look around that table and take in the faces of the people that you love and the people you care about and the ones that care about you. Thanksgiving can be an important day, and you just don't know how much time you have left with people. But overall, just my message is enjoy the day, be safe. I hope everybody has a happy, healthy Thanksgiving. And we'll be back talking more Laker basketball with you throughout the year. And of course, on Friday, hopefully after a big Laker win against OKC. Want to thank everyone again for listening to the show, for following the show. Appreciate the comments as well. I'm always curious to know what you think as Laker fans, what this team can do to get better, or where you're pointing the finger of why things aren't going well. You can follow me on social media platforms. My name's right there on the screen at Dave Palais. And we'll talk Laker basketball with you. Otherwise, have a great holiday, and we'll see you in 2 days.